All aboard the toxic gossip train.
You were a totally different person. You were a totally different person than someone who was just sitting here a minute ago.
Benjamin Michael Joseph Antipuna said, "How to sing like a big black woman. You got the chops." Thank you. I know I do. Now, some of you might say that this is racist. It isn't, because he said it, not me.
And you didn't protect them on stage. And it wasn't a fart joke. How dare you diminish what Becky spoke up about? I'm not even singing for this part. How dare you diminish that? You're an evil, evil, evil person.
Colleen Ballinger found money, YouTube success, and even real-life success following the creation of the Miranda Sings character. Going on to host late-night shows, winning countless awards for her content, and even getting her own namesake Netflix show, which I'm shocked actually got 2 seasons. In Miranda Sings, Colleen seemingly found an outlet to say what she wanted but couldn't as Colleen, to be awful around her and to partake in behaviors that I honestly think would have gotten the average person put behind bars. This horrible and disgusting behavior was put together for the internet to see by some of those affected by her disgusting behavior. Instead of facing the music, Colleen would instead release one of the worst YouTube apologies ever, and then abandoned her character and went on to milking her own children for money by becoming a mom vlogger and frequently featuring her own kids. Hi everybody, my name is Justin Jordan, and today we're going to be hopping onto the toxic gossip train and just going over a lot of Colleen's problematic and disturbing past, and also discussing how Miranda Sings was really just used as a mask by Colleen to partake in whatever problematic and disgusting behavior that she wanted to. But before we fully just dived headfirst into the horrors of Colleen Ballinger, I just wanted to thank you all so much for 8,000 subscribers. I don't know. Every time I look and see, I see more of you guys who are subscribing. So thank you all so much for subscribing. Thank you all so much for watching. And I'm so glad that anybody enjoys my content, let alone 8,000 people. That's so crazy to me. Yeah, thank you so much. So first, we're just gonna go way back to the beginning of Colleen Ballinger, how she really just started. Colleen Ballinger was born in Santa Barbara, California, on November 21st, 1986, and she really seemed to have an average childhood from at least the sources I was finding. She would kind of make up some stories or say things outlandishly about her childhood, but again, I wasn't able to fully find anything super in-depth regarding her childhood. From what I was seeing, that was very surface level. Was her family seemed middle class. She seemed to be doing pretty well. The only thing of note that I really saw from her childhood was the fact that she was homeschooled in middle school, and I just mentioned that because we'll see eventually the character Miranda Sings is homeschooled, kind of showing how her own experiences end up shaping this character in a way. But Colleen also seemed to be a child of the arts, working at Disneyland for a time as a performer, and there is some discussion online about whether she was fired from that job or whether she voluntarily quit, because during her time working there, she did kind of start to see some YouTube success. After graduating from high school, she would attend Azusa Pacific University, where she would major in vocal performance, and it is ultimately there at university where Miranda Sings would be born. And Miranda Sings really still just annoys me as a character, with her red lipstick and just grating singing voice being staples of the mid-2010s, and a lot of kind of the bit of Miranda Sings is really well exemplified in her first real viral video, which is called Free Voice Lessons. But basically she offers the viewers a free voice lesson, with the bit being that she's actually really awful at singing. That is a whole thing about Miranda Sings, the character, and we'll get into more about how she got the inspiration from that as well. She also mentions her uncle, which would be something that a lot of people would later take issue with, because she really just seems to use this uncle character as a way to trivialize things like assault and abuse. And Miranda Sings is an inspired creation. She didn't just come up with this off the dome. In a backstage article that I was able to find through archiving, she said that this character was really inspired by some of her classmates at college. How nice, how sweet. How sweet to say this of your colleagues. She said, quote, "There were a lot of girls at the school who weren't very talented but were very cocky and rude about it." That was when YouTube started getting really popular, and I would just see these girls singing into their cameras alone in their bedrooms, and I thought it was so stupid. So we can really just see how this character kind of was just birthed out of Miranda's rudeness and her superiority complex over her classmates. And because she thought these people were so awful at singing, so awful at their expression, she decided to make this character and basically bully them relentlessly online for it, which is kind of just insane. And if you thought it couldn't get any worse for the inspiration of this character, Trust me, it does, because Colleen also describes in that same article just how hard it was for her to sing badly because she's just such a great classically trained singer. And we can just already see how this character has become an outlet for cruelty for Colleen, and also is being used as a more socially acceptable way to make fun of her classmates. If you were to just make a video making fun of your classmates online, people might take issue with that. People might be like, hey, that's rude. But if you make a character trying to make it funny, less likely you're going to get that type of pushback. And that, I think, really just the first examples of Miranda being used as this messenger for Colleen to kind of just push her way out into cruelty. Regardless, the singing lesson video that we talked about earlier would ultimately drive her to fame, millions of views, and a status as a great online personality. But you're not probably here to listen to me yap about Colleen's success and fame. So let's get into the many, many, many problematic and disgusting things that Colleen Ballinger has gotten up to over the years. And I also really feel like there's a similar effect to Shane, where like people know that this person was canceled and kind of just thrown to the wayside by the internet for a specific reason, but a lot of people might not necessarily know that reasoning. So first we're going to discuss her really odd and weird content, especially given that a lot of her fans were very young, children at this time. So there are a number of very inappropriate and disgusting weird Colleen tweets in which she would tweet things like about human body parts or make videos showing herself doing things with, you know, appendages that I really don't think should be shown in content that is basically designed for children. And then there's her taking this stuff into real life with JoJo Siwa, who was, I believe, 14 at the time, and she did multiple vlogs with JoJo Siwa and collabs with JoJo Siwa in which she would talk about her private parts. Also, just a layer on this, I will correct myself if I'm wrong here, but I believe that JoJo is Colleen's cousin. So also, like, it's like you're being inappropriate not only around just a minor, you're also being weird around a minor who is a family member, which is just, that's absolutely vile. And again, her internet presence was just really, really weird. She would post a lot of weird stuff, a lot of stuff showing her either pretending to wear revealing clothing or pretending to show a body part or referencing a body part, even sucking on a lollipop or whatever that looks like a body part. And it just gets to a point where it's like, do you not like see YouTube demographics? I know this was like back then when they maybe didn't have YouTube demographics, but again, like you didn't see that literally like a bulk of your fan base was literal children. And I really do want to emphasize that I'm really not trying to sit here and like dissect every single thing that she decides to tweet, because I don't know. I just really think when you get to the point where you're talking to a 14-year-old JoJo Siwa about your nunu or literally playing with prosthetic body parts in your content that you know kids are literally watching, because if you look at your comment section, you are going to be able to generally tell the age of your fans. And then also we'll get into how Colleen did like literal live tours, and like a lot of the people in the crowd seem to be very young. So it's not like Colleen had no idea what this was about. And just to segue off of talking about her tours are where some of the most disturbing and disgusting behavior from Colleen would occur. Here's a photo of her literally spitting in the face of a child on tour, and she would also do this other thing at tours. I don't know how she managed to pretend to make it funny or pretend to include it into her show in a way that people weren't immediately repulsed, but she would do this thing where basically she would call kids up to the stage and they would spread their legs for Colleen, and allegedly she would instruct them to wear very short clothing as well, just to add another layer of grossness. Like imagine showing your whole body to a crowd of thousands of people at the age of like 12, 13. Like a lot of these fans were really, really young at this time and subjected to this and have trauma because of this, and it's just really heartbreaking. So here's a story from a fan on Reddit I was able to find just discussing their overall experience after Colleen basically made them spread their legs on stage for her. Colleen sexualized me on stage when I was 13. I've been wanting to get this off my shoulders for a long time, and this seems like the perfect place to do so. When I was 13 to 14, I was a very big Miranda/Colleen fan. I idolized her and watched all her content. I want to add that I was in a dark place when I dealt with ED, very bad anxiety, and SA, and I think her videos helped me at this time in life as it was so easygoing and childish. So when I saw that she was performing with her tour in my city, I obviously had to go, and I ended up getting tickets with my childhood friend. I'm pretty sure the tour was called Haters Back Off. I've been trying to suppress it until now. I was 13 at the time. I remember that I was wearing jean shorts with leggings and a normal spaghetti strap style top. So nothing weird or inappropriate at all. Well, I ended up being called to come on stage, which I was thrilled about, obviously. However, the experience wasn't that good for me and left me feeling extremely uncomfortable. Me being on stage ended up being all about Miranda shaming my outfit and calling me a porn fiend, talking about how sluttish my outfit was, basically sexualizing me completely. At 13, I didn't truly understand or comprehend how extremely inappropriate it is for a grown woman to sexualize a 13-year-old, even if it's a character doing so. However, I did feel very uneasy afterwards. What's important for me to add to this story, at the time I was being essayed by my middle school teacher, who would constantly put the blame on the essay, on what I was wearing and how I was acting. I was constantly sexualized in a similar way by him as I was on the stage that day. So Miranda shaming me, my completely normal outfit, and sexualizing me was a major trigger for my essay. I think it also made me blame myself even more than I already was. Even though it was supposed to be comical and funny, it felt like the truth for me, as this was a second adult basically sexualizing me and then blaming my clothing. I remember going home that evening feeling so much shame and guilt. What I wanted to say with all of this is that Colleen's funny, harmless character and jokes ended up hurting me quite a lot. It's clear that she's done hurt to multiple minors, including myself, and I don't want her actions to be downplayed, as I'm a real example of the damage she's done to people. Just talking about this feels like a huge relief, and I'm standing up for the 13-year-old myself. Just absolutely horrifying and disgusting. I truly hope that this person was able to heal from this. And also, I really think it was so important for them to mention. I'm glad they were able to mention this, because this is likely extremely hard for them to discuss even on Reddit. Their own experience with SA and how that really made them rethink it and blame themselves is just really disgusting. Like Colleen repeating these same talking points that these predators are using to basically shame their victims is disgusting. Like, it seems like this user was talking about how it was framed as like, oh my god, I'm going on stage with my favorite, I'm going on stage with my celebrity, like my idol. Of course they're going to take that opportunity. So that kind of dynamic as well, the fan-creator dynamic, Colleen kind of using that to her advantage to do this type of odd stuff. And also, you could have a funny tour without literally inviting minor fans up to do this. Like, even making adult fans do this is weird, but when you do minor fans, I literally feel like there should be police in the crowd. Like, someone should call 911 and get you after the show, because this is absolutely disgusting. And the fact that there's so many people who have these experiences, because Colleen seems to have done this multiple times in multiple different cities and made this a regular part of the show, is really disturbing, because a lot of the times people will be like, oh, there's no victims of Colleen. Oh, Colleen didn't even do anything that bad. Like, when you listen to the experience of somebody who actually went through this and you hear how deeply that impacted them, I feel like Colleen has a lot to answer to. Like, honestly. I really am disturbed at how much of this has kind of been, I won't say wash, but I will say, like, the internet's memory is very, short term. So, a lot of things are not fully remembered to their full extent. And this is one of those things, and I'm just like, I think this is important to remember. And if you're thinking Colleen maybe didn't know that there were so many children fans, even though, the people we just described, getting spat in the face and also being forced to spread their legs open were literally kids at the time, Colleen literally discusses how she knows that there's a lot of kids at this one show and how she feels fear about moderating her content.
People here. The audience tonight seems like it's going to be pretty young. There's a lot of really little kids today, which I was surprised by, because it's usually not like that. So I might have to be a little bit more careful with my inappropriate jokes.
There's clearly some way for her to look at this, for her to look at the crowd, for her to see that there's a lot of kids in the audience. And in these scenarios, it's seeming like she didn't care, in my opinion, and she still decided to do what she wanted to do, which is be absolutely weird and vile towards these children. And we're still on Colleen's controversies, because we're going to have to discuss how Colleen was racist. And a lot of this stuff extends out of her character as well. It wasn't just the Miranda Sings character. Not that that excuses it at all, but she did use the Miranda Sings character to kind of hide. For these instances, a lot of these, it seems like she didn't even care about hiding, and she just wanted to do this as herself. First, there was the How to Sing Like a Black Woman video that Colleen released and literally was monetized.
Michael Joseph Antipuna said, how to sing like a big black woman. You got the chops. Thank you. I know I do. Now, some of you might say that this is racist. It isn't, because he said it, not me. So, just saying. Anyways, a lot of people aspire to sound like a big black woman because they are more talented than other people, usually, except for me. So, how you can do that is a normal person would sing like this. And I am telling you, I'm not going. Really soft like that, and you sound very not good. Well, if you want to sing like a big black talented woman, what you would do is sing up really loud with really lots of vibrato. How you do vibrato is shake your head and then a vibrato come out. So for example, and I am telling you, I'm not going.
And we still haven't heard an apology or anything to this day. There's also the part of this vlog where Colleen is, I believe, at some sort of Disney event and refers to Princess Tiana, out of all the other people that she's probably interacted with that night, a sassy mother trucker because she just said hi.
Rachel and I are meeting all the characters like a Dalmatian man. That's what it is. And here's Peter Pan. Say hi. Hi there. Yay! I just ran into Mickey Mouse. My bad. It's Tiana. Say hi. She is sassy as a mother trucker.
Just a small rant about this situation and just microaggressions in general. I feel like the term has been trivialized somewhat, and like people don't take it seriously when someone says microaggression or expresses that microaggressions are like real, because they are real and they are something that I deal with them a lot, and it's very hard to call out. It's a very weird dynamic, microaggressions, because when you call microaggressions out, you are made to be the aggressor. In the scenario, you are made to seem like you're being the unreasonable one and that this person was just making a joke or just referring to something or just whatever. It's very frustrating because you'll get it a lot and you'll have to deal with it a lot from different people. And like the excuse would be, oh, I didn't know, but it still feels really horrific and sad and, I don't know, grating during the moment, regardless. This next one is a parody rap video, which I just find insanely cringe and also a bit racist because of the attempted black sin and also her ex-husband literally being in a do-rag while Colleen Ballinger tries to twerk. This video literally has to keep them up at night with how horrible it is. Like, this is so awful. It's not even like a good video. Like, if you're going to be racist, can you make it good, please, guys? Because this is absolute garbage. And if you were thinking that Colleen Ballinger only decided to target black people, you'd be wrong, because she also targets Latino people, literally making several tweets in which she refers to wanting to avoid large Mexican men. And there's also a lot of tweets that are very anti-Semitic, which is just really weird. Like, Colleen, what are you doing? Seriously, she was just tweeting her mind at the time, and we got quite a view into there, okay? And all I'm saying is I don't want another view into there. And here is the infamous video where she and another girl named Rachel, I believe, wore extremely exaggerated makeup and tried to pretend to be Latinas and mock the accents of Latino Americans, which is just, it can't get much worse, can it?
I am Rosa, this is my cousin. We work at the taco together. Of course, but I am soon to be a manager. She just got promoted to the drive-thru, so she talks to the people.
Your eyebrows look especially good today.
I know today is because I have like the natural haircut.
It really just seems like Colleen is also allergic to just making fun of white people and just sticking to what she knows, because there's also an insane amount of tweets from Colleen targeting Asian people for some reason. Tweets in which she talks about Chinese food smelling bad, tweets in which she literally just randomly, I don't know, she just really seems obsessed at the time. The thing about it is it's not just at a certain time. Like, these tweets span multiple years. You can look at the timestamps. Some of these tweets go well into like the mid 2010s. And it's like, Colleen, what are you like doing? And this one is just really, like, I actually was just shocked. There was no reason. There's no reason for any of this, but this one just really, I don't know why, but it hit so hard for me because there's this vlog in which she and another creator and now kind of famous person named Todrick Hall would literally harass and laugh at the face of a homeless woman for no reason. It's like, why? Like, literally just being evil. There is no reason to bother this woman.
There's someone, we're disturbing their slumber. Guys, watch it. Don't let this happen to you, okay? We're here. Okay. Someone.
She's literally just trying to sleep, and y'all are harassing her. And I don't know, I could really do a whole video, a whole deep dive, a whole like segment just talking about how horribly homeless people are treated in today's society, because it's like, not only are they treated like human garbage, disposable, like they're not worth anything, but they're also constantly like facing horrific discrimination and horrific treatment from just everybody. The anti-homeless architecture epidemic just has to end, because I'd love to sit on a park bench where I don't feel like my hips are being stabbed in the sides by 2 bars because y'all don't want homeless people to be able to sleep anywhere. In this next section, I am going to give a trigger warning, as we are going to be discussing some aspects of ED, and I will just ask you to skip to the next chapter if that's something you feel like you can't handle now, and I don't blame you. There is a lot more controversies to cover, and if you don't feel comfortable, if you don't feel like you're able to hear this section, then please by all means skip to the next chapter. And now we're going to talk about something that many, many, many people have called out and discussed, which is Colleen's body checking. And I didn't really know what the definition of body checking fully was. Like, I kind of had a general idea, but for those of you like me who didn't know what body checking is, Project HEAL, an organization which is dedicated to helping people who suffer from EDs, states that body checking is behavior in which someone monitors their physical appearance, including size, weight, shape, or other features of certain body parts. And specifically here in that definition, for what Colleen was doing, we're going to be talking about kind of her really body checking her weight and sometimes the shapes of certain parts of her body. This is something that a lot of people have noticed and a lot of people have talked about, which is Colleen's incessant showing of her body, posing in front of the camera. You would think it's normal, right? But it gets to a point where like you see it again and again and again, and it's like, okay, at this point you're body checking. Here's a bio from a YouTube video in which she was basically calling out people for body shaming her. And this is just really, I don't know, it's really interesting. Maybe I'm looking too far into it, but given what she's also discussed and kind of her body checking behavior, this bio just reads very weird to me. She says this: "Stop the body shaming. I love my body and we should be lifting each other up and complimenting each other. Not bad. Not tearing each other down for something that we can't control. I'm a naturally skinny girl and my bones stick out. That's awesome." So some people were kind of saying that this connects to some of her body checking behavior. I can kind of see maybe she was trying to be encouraging in that message. But again, given her past body checking behavior, and we're also going to be talking about her comments regarding bigger people as well, which are just really, really weird. Here's what somebody said, quote, "You're not too skinny." That's her ED voice talking, saying you can never be too skinny. At some point, we have to draw the line of what is healthy, and extremes on either side can be unhealthy, obviously, depending on your diet. And then she says she wants people to glorify and compliment her body. Also, this fake wokeness is rich, coming from someone who fat shames people and posts pictures of bystanders' bodies and who is fat phobic. Ooh. This comment coming from Stark Reddit, so it is obviously very anti-Colleen here. But just to put my 2 cents in, I definitely did notice a lot of weird behavior that I could chalk up to body checking from Colleen, like where she'll pose for the camera, even in some recent content. And like, this is obviously a very complex topic. I'm by no means a nutritionist. I'm by no means a medical professional. I don't think there's anything wrong with being comfortable in your own body regardless. You know what I mean? Like, of course, like, people are saying there are extremes and, unhealthy habits, whatever, right? But like Colleen, I personally am very skinny. But again, I would never sit here and say like, oh, like, I'm being skinny shamed to the level of someone who is like fat shamed. I also don't think I would be like, I'm so skinny, my bones poke out, hee hee. Like that, I don't know. That's just not. Let me know if I'm being a little bit too much here and digging too deep in here. But we're also going to discuss what she's said about fat people before in the past. And I think correlating these two and having this in mind when we're talking about what she said here is very important, because without it, you're kind of like, what? So in conjunction with social media posts where she kind of makes fun of bigger people and also makes fun of EDs with her friends and also just ranting about big people for some reason. And she hates when a big person exists in a space. And it's just like, okay, Colleen, like, please. She posts this stuff on Facebook where she's like, oh my gosh, a big person. She almost sank the floaty or whatever. There's also like multiple instances where she'll just sit down and rant about a bigger person for like minutes on end, even if they're just existing. All of this combined together really just paints a picture of odd and weird behavior about Colleen. And like, also, again, she has this majority child audience, so her kind of reinforcing this behavior of like body checking and like, oh, I'm so skinny, my bones stick out, is also just really, 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 really harmful on the level of like, this could possibly influence some kids who are watching this. And you might not think that, but like, kids are very open to influence from creators that they like and watch. So that was the section for the trigger warning. We're now going to be discussing Colleen's behavior around animals. And this is something that has come up time and time again because Colleen is very weird around animals. I don't know why there's this urge in Colleen to do this type of stuff with animals that I think should get them revoked, honestly. So there is literally a video of her putting her cat into a bag and basically making the cat claw itself out, which I don't think I can show that. And it's also very blurry, like from the source I found it. But people are saying that exists and I could see it through the blur. So yeah. There's also this video which is not blurred and I don't know if it's still up, but Colleen's doing this collab with this other creator, and she literally grabs this cat and puts the cat inside of her pants, which is just really weird, and also just like, why? This is something that really, really, really irks me, because it's like, why are you taking these poor innocent animals who have no idea, who are like trust you as basically their owner, their caretaker, and literally doing these horrific and disgusting things with them? Like, please keep your cat away from your pants. It's not only very weird and disgusting, it's also very dangerous because the cat might not be able to breathe depending on how it goes down. And don't get me started on the paper bag. It's so disgusting, likely so traumatizing for the cat. Both of these instances so traumatizing for the poor animal. I really just feel awful for this animal. And also the second video, how was the guy just sitting there acting like this was normal behavior? This is a common theme throughout Colleen's career and her content, but it's like, how are there like adults in the room looking at this stuff and not calling this out? Because it's so weird, it's so disgusting. And here we're gonna start getting into Colleen's downfall and just really discussing some of the timeline as it pertains to how she started falling off. And a main figure of this downfall of Colleen Ballinger is Adam McIntyre. And he's a commentary creator and a former fan of Colleen who in 2020 would come out against her in a video titled Colleen Ballinger Stop Lying. In the video, Adam describes how he went from a fan to a friend, even having very close contact with Colleen, being in direct DMs with her, meeting her up for meetups, that type of thing. It's just very odd, and her excuses later on don't really cover this type of behavior. And like also like, I totally get responding to your fans, like, you know what I mean? Like, every fan wants a response from their fave, but when it gets to a point where it's like, you need to put the phone down and you need to actually meet people in your real life who are your age, who are not children, who are not fans. Like, talk to your friends. Do you have friends? Do you have family? Because, like, you are a woman in your mid-30s or mid-20s, going through a divorce, and you're putting all of this stuff on this child who has no idea what's going on, who just loves you because you're a cool and funny YouTuber to them. Like, what? Imagining, like, I don't know, Dan TDM coming into my DMs at like 13 and just telling me about his relationship with his wife or something. That's insane. And another major part of this, of the allegations made by Adam and the video made by Adam that would spark controversy was Adam's allegations that Colleen asked whether he wanted her to send panties and a bra, which Adam eventually would pull out and show the camera, the bra, to prove that it was actually sent to Adam. And here's a clip of that actually on a live stream, which is shockingly still up.
I want to send him something. Do you want the bra, Adam?
Do you want the bra and panties? Tweet right now.
I don't know. I think once you get to a point like Colleen where she was just like she just seems to be too lazy to take this stuff down. Like Toxic Gossip Train's still up. The 2020 apology's still up. Like, I'm not saying people should take stuff down, but I'm just saying like she clearly doesn't have any more managers or anything. She is just clearly a one-woman show and just doesn't want to delete all this stuff and go through the countless problematic and disgusting videos that she still has up on her page. I was saying how Adam was a fan earlier, but basically the reason why they had fallen out was because Colleen had basically hired Adam, a minor at this time, to act as her social media manager on Twitter. And she got really mad when Adam released a coming out tweet, which caused a lot of controversy for Colleen. And ultimately, she terminated the relationship and was kind of very rude. And I just have to talk about this because this is just so insane to me. Like, I cannot physically imagine giving, like, your minor, I don't know, like, Adam, I think, was saying, like, 13, maybe not 13 at the time of, like, tweeting and stuff, but, like, teenage fan access to your account and access to basically tweet whatever he wants, and you put that responsibility on him and you expect nothing but disaster to arise from that. Like, you really think, you're really sitting here thinking that this teenager is equipped to manage your social media presence and that there won't be any consequences or controversy from that. Like, are you serious, Colleen? But this, in conjunction with the allegations and the discussion from Adam, would result in Colleen releasing a video entitled Addressing Everything, and shocker, she didn't really address anything, honestly. Like, a lot of stuff was left unaddressed. A lot of stuff was left ignored. There are so many problematic instances of behavior that, like, literally a Colleen apology video for everything she's done would probably be 6 hours long. Because there's stuff that I have not even been able to cover because of timing's sake. Like, there's literally entire threads covering just how bad her behavior was. But in this video, where she claims to take accountability for everything, she basically skims past Adam's allegations and emphasizes and does this thing that a lot of people do when they're in hot water, saying that she's changed. And in regards to some of the racist videos that she posted, namely the video where she did a faux Latina accent and really tried to just make fun of Latino people in general, she made an apology for that behavior. But this aspect of this situation really upsets me so badly. She really still seems to blame Adam and emphasizes, oh my gosh, I had no idea about this pride tweet. It's like, girl, there's literally videos of you, like, basically mocking racial groups. There's videos of you pretending to sing like a black woman, and you're sitting here worried about a tweet that was, like, coming out. Like, I know that was on her mind because that was, like, a controversy that was also swirling around at the time, but it's just really insane to hear the dichotomy of, like, what she was doing at this time and also, like, what she felt like was, like, the biggest thing that she just had to apologize for because she could not have made this coming out. And yeah, again, like, really no accountability for hiring a minor to run your social media pages, which is, like, a bad decision in general, unless, like, I don't know, Adam graduated from some Ivy League school for marketing or something, but, like, I don't know. You truly expect your fans to do all this stuff for you for, I don't think Adam was getting paid. Like, come on, girl. Let's use our brains. Sadly, though, this video would honestly kind of work for Colleen, and I'm really shocked about this as well because in 2020, I feel like a lot of creators are having their old content looked back on, but she also did use this as a situation to instantly deflect from, like, the racism allegations and kind of try to broadly encompass everything in one without fully addressing every instance of racism that she's engaged in. The internet at large, unfortunately, would not really take the allegations from Adam super seriously. Some people were calling Adam a liar. And another thing that Colleen is accused of, and we'll get into in this next video that we're going to discuss, which would really bring the controversy back to light, is that she will be in these group chats with fans and kind of, like, tell them to, like, collect gossip or collect dirt or spread dirt on these people who are going against Colleen, and it's just so weird. Like, she has this army of minions ordering them to protect the queen, Colleen, from any controversy or any drama. But like I was saying, the internet in general kind of forgot about this, sadly, or was on the side of Colleen. And sadly, this wouldn't come back for another 3 years when a YouTuber named Cody Rants, or I think they go by Cody now, or something, would post a video titled Why I Left the Colleen Ballinger Fandom. In the video, Cody would reveal DMs with Colleen, in which Colleen really, like, seems to rely on and reach out to her fans, like I was saying earlier, using them really as henchmen, using them to do her bidding, if you will. And Cody even shows screenshots from a group chat where Colleen would interact with her minor fans in an extremely odd and extremely weird way, and this is something that's going to come up again and again. More screenshots would come out from this group chat, which was known as Colleen's Weenies or Colleenie's Weenies, basically revealing that Colleen would reveal extremely intimate details about her life, kind of order these people to bash her ex-husband or continuously bash her ex-husband in front of them, and just dish out her personal life and also be very, very, very inappropriate around these very young fans who are minors. I believe one of the posts said they were 12 to 17 in this chat, which is, like, insane. Like, not saying this is right, like, this is still wrong and still weird, but, like, I'm sure you had maybe 5 fans that were above the age of 18 to contact, or, like, maybe your friends or maybe family members. Like, girl, do you have a support system? Because why are we relying on random minors on the internet to vent our frustrations about your divorce? And this video and the subsequent reinvigoration of the controversy against Colleen would lead to a lot of stuff coming out against her, and also would lead to Adam again making a video and again kind of using his platform to call out Colleen, discussing just how odd and weird she was. And We also have to discuss some things that Adam would also come out about, and even a former employee would come out. Just for context, sorry. At the time, Trisha Paytas and Colleen Ballinger were doing a joint podcast, and as Adam was kind of calling out Colleen, as this was growing and growing and growing on the internet, the stance of the podcast seemed to really be ignorance and like not caring. So Adam would come out with the allegation. Adam would come out with the allegation that Colleen had sent literal naked pictures of Trisha Paytas from her OF to Adam, and another employee would allege that that Colleen also sent those photos to the employee. Yeah. So that podcast was broken up. And before we jump into the toxic gossip train and kind of the aftermath of Colleen's cancellation, we just have to talk about Colleen and her ex-husband Josh. Like I've been talking about, Josh was really the subject of a massive smear campaign by Colleen, kind of using her fans to spread misinformation and kind of spread a narrative about Josh that he was this horrible, horrible, horrible husband and evil. And like, I'm not going to comment on Josh's like thing, but I'm just going to discuss more context about him. But Josh would go on Twitter and kind of discuss how Colleen gaslit him and was really bad to him during their relationship. And it would become more vocal during this whole controversy, doing a 3-hour interview with the YouTuber Swoop in which he discussed just how bad the relationship was, and even alleging that Colleen had actually cheated on him during the relationship. But people did also note that Josh was very involved in some of Colleen's antics, including I don't know if you remember, but the rap video that we covered, Josh was literally like the guy wearing the do-rag in that. Like, so, I don't know, Josh, you had some involvement in this, and like, people were saying that it wasn't really like discussed by Josh. But now we're entering the toxic gossip train, and the train wreck of a video that the apology was. But first, I feel like I really just have to emphasize just how big this has gotten. Like, imagine daily viral tweets just exposing Colleen. Imagine commentary channels literally getting millions of views talking about Colleen, and big podcasts hosting interviews with the victims of Colleen, and just a new wave of people discussing Colleen's really problematic and disgusting actions. So yeah, it was pretty bad for Colleen, to say the least. And unlike in 2020, I really feel like in 2023, Colleen's star had faded a little bit, to the point where people were not as willing to defend her, and kind of leaving only a small group of people who dared to defend her. And now Colleen had to clap back to redeem herself. And how did she decide to do it? By pulling out a ukulele and strumming basically nothing to address what people were talking about. And we've all seen it, honestly, so I really just wanted to discuss its significance, because I really think it's really interesting to see a YouTuber, I guess, act this way, or an internet figure act this way once they face controversy. Like, a lot of them fail to take accountability, but to just do it so blatantly, I think is just insane. Colleen literally didn't take accountability to the point of just like blaming us, and then also tried to do this meta commentary about how cancel culture is evil, and also the I'm not a groomer, I'm just a loser is just really insane. Like, I don't think you have to be like a groomer or a creep, but I do think her actions definitely did have an impact on people that were akin to something like that. So it's like, again, intent versus impact. You could have been the kindest person on earth, but spreading a minor's legs on stage for your crowd and basically exposing them at trauma, shaming them, is really weird. And now we transition into today. Even though Colleen kind of did try to, say like, oh my gosh, I made that apology out of ego, she would take, a little break from posting, but now she's taken to posting literally daily vlogs of her children. She's taken to literally exploiting her children now via family vlogs. And like, family vlogging and the whole culture surrounding family vlogging is just so nasty and so weird. And I could really just talk about that a lot. But what can we really take from this in general, and just how can we move on from this? I really think we have to discuss how these characters and these YouTube personalities are used as masks to engage in this type of behavior that is disgusting, engage in this type of behavior that would not be allowed normally, but is kind of given a pass because, oh, they're just playing a character, they're just joking. And I don't know, I think we really have to do more analysis into these type of characters when we see them kind of pop up, when we see people make these type of characters. Is this a way for them to be cruel via character? And if it's so, I think we should call it out. And wider take here, I feel like calling this stuff out ASAP as soon as you see it is so important. Like, at the tour, I really feel like someone calling security or police or someone just calling out Colleen for this type of stuff. Like the adults. The kids, they have no idea what's going on. The people who are forced up on stage, they have no idea what's going on. But like, honestly, the thought that there's like adults in these rooms and like grown people in these rooms when this type of stuff is happening and no one's really talking about it is just so crazy to me. Like, come on now. Like, Colleen is literally spreading the legs of children. Where is the police? But regardless, I really hope you enjoyed my my deep dive into Colleen Ballinger, just discussing some of her behavior. And honestly, I didn't really watch Colleen when I was younger because literally, even as like a 10-year-old or a 12-year-old child, like I was annoyed by her. But regardless, thank you so much for watching, and let me know what you want to see next. Let me know if you enjoyed this type of content, and feel free to like and subscribe if you enjoyed and want to see more of this. I'll see y'all next time. Bye, everybody.